Hello and welcome to Learning Excel 2013. My name is Mike Henry and this is the fourth video from tutorial 8. In this video we're going to look at the OR function. We're going to see that the OR function allows just one item to be true, and that'll move us on to the true spot in our if statement. So we're going to be using the OR statement in our logical test to move on to the true. We're also going to talk about naming because we've been working with tables here. Tables have field names, and we're going to see that we can use the field names in a formula. In this video we're going to play with our old friend the if statement again and throw in an OR statement, but we're also going to learn another piece here. As we remember, this is a table, and in the database world tables have fields, and what we're going to find is that this location, job status, these are all considered field names, and we're going to learn how to write this formula instead of using the normal reference of, like in this case, if I wanted this cell I'd use G2. Instead of using G2 I would use the status or the field called job status. Now let's take a look at what salary increase we're really trying to do here. So everyone is going to get a salary increase. Everyone is going to have their salary right here. Their salary is in I2. They're going to get a salary increase. Now some people are going to get a 3.5% increase, and others will get a 2.5% increase. So we want to figure out what their increase amount will be. So people who live in New York or San Francisco, because those are higher cost areas, they're going to get a 3.5% increase. And people who live anywhere other than that, like here we have Atlanta or Dallas, these people are going to get a 2.5% increase. So to do this one, obviously it's an if statement, and when we look right here you can see we have our if statement going through, logical test true and false, but what we're going to do is we're going to be using an OR. If you meet this category or that category, I can't use an AND, because if you can't live both in San Francisco and New York simultaneously. You got to live one or the other. So we're going to use an OR. You're either here or there. Now we're also going to talk about using the field name. So in this case, let me get a pen here and we'll drop in here. So here we're going to talk about a field name, and in this case I'm going to put in the field name called location, and I use a square bracket to let it know that this is a field name, and I'm going to put in here the word location. And so I put in here if location equals, and then I put over here San Francisco for the first one. Okay, and then over here I'm going to put in the same thing. I'm going to abbreviate because I'm not going to write out all of location. I'm going to put in here location equals New York. Now all of this is my OR statement, and all of this is my right there logical test. Now here's the deal. If I am positive here, I automatically go to the true. If I'm positive here, I get to go to the true. So if I'm positive and negative, I get to go to the true. If I'm I'm negative here, positive there, I go. If I am positive here, negative here, I go here. Now if I'm negative here and negative here, that's when I finally get to go to my false. Okay, it's only when I am in two negatives do I go to my false. Now here I take my current salary, so I'm just going to abbreviate my current salary, and I have that in a square bracket, and I'm going to multiply that times my 0.035, because that's the increase. Here I would do the same thing. I would take the current salary, and in this case I'm going to multiply by 0.25. So I'm not writing that all out because we're going to see me type that here in a second. So let me just bring this right over here, and we'll talk about doing our salary increase. So right here I'm going to put in here my equal and my if, and I quickly open that up. I'm going to put in my OR, and I hit the tab to open that up. Now watch what happens as I start typing the word location. Okay, notice that nothing is coming up that looks like location. Now if I go back and I put a square bracket, look what happens. As soon as I put my square bracket, I get the list of all the fields, and if I type L, it immediately drops me down to last name. I hit LO. I have only location left, so I hit the tab key. And now I have my location in place. I close my square bracket and I'm looking at my location, and I put equal, and in this case I'm going to put SF for San Francisco. So I've already filled in my first part of my logical test here of my OR, and then I do the same thing again. I put my square bracket. Okay, I put my square bracket, I put in my LO, and I've got location. I don't have to type the whole word, I just hit tab, and now the whole thing's been put in there for me. I close it with a square bracket, put equal NY for my New Yorkers, and now I close out with a closing parenthesis. So you can see I have my closing parenthesis here and there. As soon as I hit my comma, I move on to my value if true. Now the same thing, if I put my square bracket and I type in here C for current salary, I don't even have to type another thing. I hit the tab key and I close my bracket there. Current salary would get multiplied by 0.035. As I move on to the true, I put my opening thing. I put in here my current salary, and I just close my square bracket, and I'm going to multiply that times 0.25, and I close that out. And you can see as you go down here that everyone's getting some type of increase in here. They're getting some type of increase, and if you were to go through and really check it, you would see that these increases are working. New Yorker increases looks like 3.5, and down here Atlanta is a smaller increase, that's 24, so you can see that they would have a 600 because that's a 2% increase. So they're getting a smaller increase than the others. So in this video we learned about naming. We learned that when you're working with a table, that all the names of the columns are actually field names, and we learned that we can use those in a formula, and if we're typing really good, we can use that and make our formulas that much more accurate because we're working with English, and it makes it quicker and simpler. We also learned how to take the OR statement, and the OR statement in our logical test of the if statement allowed us to have one item be true to move to the true. If all items were false, then we had to move to the false.